帝国の権威を失墜し、
The Far East crisis, as reported from Tokyo, is still in a state of uncertainty tonight. The newly appointed premier, General Tojo, is a career army man. There are many observers in Tokyo and elsewhere tonight who believe that this new cabinet is the tip-off to war.
Japan and the United States have a common responsibility to maintain and develop the peace and the Pacific.
The danger is creeping on us very fast.
Tough section, cutting up to his left, he's over the 10. Nice block there by Lehman. Tough still going, he's up to the 25, and now he's hit and hit hard about the 27-yard line. Bruiser Kennard made the tackle. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this important bulletin from the United Press. Flash, Washington. The White House announces Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor.
3 American battleships were hit, and the battleship West Virginia was reported sunk. Also, the battleship Oklahoma has been set on fire. One Japanese bomb striking the Army Air Base at Hickman Field killed 350 American troops in one shot.
Manila has just been bombed. In fact, right now it is being bombed.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
On the morning of December 11th, the government of Germany declared war against the United States.
Goodbye, dear, I'll be back in a year, 'cause I'm in the army now.
The women of this country must give the best that they have to give.
On the old assembly line, on the old assembly line.
Everything is hum, hum, humming on the old assembly line.
The Navy announces that Wake Island is probably captured by the enemy.
Out here in the Southwest Pacific battlefront, it's apparent the Allies at this moment stand in very great danger of losing every vantage point from which to fight the war. The Japanese are at Singapore and pushing everywhere against the Dutch East Indies, Australia, and Burma.
Further enemy operations in the North Pacific were announced by Canada's defense minister, who reported that an enemy submarine had shelled a government telegraph station at Estevan Point on Vancouver Island. This is about 125 miles north of the northwestern tip of the state of Washington.
Forcible evacuation of all Japanese from Bainbridge Island in Puget Sound opposite the Bremerton, Washington Navy Yard was ordered today by the Army, effective March 30th.
From the Navy Department here today came momentous news. It was a reckoning of accounts of the naval battle north of Java. History may record it as one of the decisive naval fights, for the Allied fleet was smashed by a heavily superior Japanese force.
In Australia, it's now late Saturday morning, and it's probable that General MacArthur has by now reached his Australian Army headquarters to formally take over the big job of halting the Japanese advance and preparing a counteroffensive to throw back the invaders.
It's so terrific in the Pacific. The Japanese are doing very well. They've taken Hong Kong and Manila. Their Navy and Air Force is swell.
We are waiting for God only knows what. We may have to give up by noon.
That lieutenant walked 7 days in the death march, and when we arrived at the end of the journey, he didn't have feet, just a mass of infected blisters.
This is Lieutenant General Wainwright. Subject, surrender.
The tremendous naval battle northeast of Australia has crowded other world developments into a position of comparatively minor significance in today's news. For that battle, now raging for 5 days and apparently still in progress, may decide the fate of Australia.
Greetings, everybody. This is your number one enemy, the radio social. I know you still hate us. What you need is some good jive. I mean solid. Helps you relax. All set? Okay, here's the first blow at your morale. Two times you're swinging and singing. Hey, Pop, I don't want to go to work. Please be listening.